I was still in the hospital, and Nancy Powers, a good friend of my wife and I, reached out, and she had worked with Canine Support Team and offered or asked if we'd be interested in having a puppy in training. And my wife was all over it. I'm not too sure if she even asked my opinion, but she said, we would love to, and is there any chance of having an Australian Shepherd? Because we've always had Australian Shepherds, and we know that they're such loyal dogs. Mona Breaks, who was a breeder that had sold us our original Australian Shepherd, offered to donate a puppy, which was extremely generous of her.
I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw photos of an Australian Shepherd puppy. So I naturally paused, and there was an extensive post associated with the photos, and it was a post on Babington Mills asking for applications for a puppy raiser to raise the future service dog of Kevin Babington. I submitted an application, and within a few days I received word from Max Bingley, who is the puppy raiser director for Canine Support Teams. We went through several more pieces of the application process, and within a few weeks they notified me that I had been selected to raise Kevin's service dog.
A former student of mine reached out to me and said, Lindsay Brock is going to put her name in for an application. Please pick her. She would give the best of care. She loves animals. She loves her dog. She already has an Australian Shepherd. I put a good word in. I had nothing to do with picking the person, and I was so delighted when I found out that Lindsay was going to be the person to take care of her.
When Samantha was about 7 weeks old, they flew her to LaGuardia. I picked her up. That was the first time I met her on the sidewalk at LaGuardia Airport. They had her in a very small, what looked like a cat carrier, but she was on the plane. And all I wanted to do was cuddle her, but I had a 2-hour drive. She was in the back seat and somehow wiggled her nose through the zipper in the carrier, and she got out as I was driving over the George Washington Bridge, and she stretched her hind legs across the back seat onto the front seat and just set her nose on my arm, and that's how she sat the whole way home. So I was hooked immediately.
Well, I'd followed Samantha for months on social media. She has her own Facebook page, so I got to see lots of photos of her. Lindsay was kind enough to send me direct photos on my phone. The first time I ever got to see her, I was at a horse show in Wellington in Florida on the way to the ring. So I felt bad that I couldn't even spend any time with her. I finally got to meet her, and I was running to get to train a student at the ring. And but she was more beautiful in person than she even looked in the photos. And super personality, and just really excited to be around her.
Samantha will be a mobility support dog for Kevin, so she will help assist him in the lack of mobility that he has. So opening and closing doors, retrieving objects, holding objects for him. She'll be there to help him do those things that he physically can't do for himself.
After meeting Samantha, just having the companionship, I think, is going to be huge. There are plenty of things that I can't do from my wheelchair that I think she can help me with. Just to have the peace of mind to know that I have a companion beside me that can help me with very simple things like that, I think is huge. It's nice to have a bit of independence where you don't have a person sitting beside you the whole time. I could have a dog beside me 24 hours a day, and it's never going to upset me, but it's nice to have a bit of breathing space where I don't have people beside me the whole time.
In the wake of Kevin's accident, many people rallied together to do what they could in support of Kevin and Diana. I was ecstatic to be able to play a role in Kevin's recovery and in Kevin's life.
And I think it's absolutely amazing because I know, I train horses my whole life, and I know how much work goes into the details, and it's not something that you take a dog and you put a few months work into. For me to be on the receiving end of such an incredible animal that can support me in numerous ways, and the hundreds of hours and the amount of volunteers that, you know, including the likes of Lindsay, that have, you know, taken a dog into their home to be part of their life to help somebody like me out. I feel just so honored and you know, privileged to be on the receiving end.